What's up, guys? Welcome to yet another episode of Garage Stories with Eddie G. Today, we're joined by Jayden. So, he comes from the world of IMSA prototype cars type deal.
Yes, sir. Correct.
So, that's where you ended up, sort of.
Correct. After NASCAR,
Yeah. All right. Because you did also a little stint with NASCAR stuff.
I did.
Sweet. So, we're going to start off from the beginning, right? So, when I first met you, you were going to tech school and you were a realtor?
Correct.
All right. All right. We need to back up a little bit because very rare do I hear I'm selling houses and then I'm jumping over walls and changing tires. So, how did you. All right. What got you into realty? Let's go that route.
Yeah. So my parents are actually both very successful realtors out in Texas.
Okay.
So they started that back in, I want to say 2013. And ever since then they've just been digging, building their own team, their own brand. And that's kind of how I fell into it. It was just a family endeavor. At the time I was studying, going to school for digital marketing, which admittedly I still have not used to this day.
Okay.
It was kind of one of those things where it's like most college kids do. You go to college, you're like, I guess I'll pick this, and then you kind of just run with it.
All right. So you graduated high school around what year?
2018.
All right. So you're not a spring chicken, so to speak, right? You're like what, in your late 20s?
25 now.
Okay. So mid 20s. All right. So you were born and raised in Texas, I'm guessing.
So I was born in Conway, South Carolina. It's about 30 minutes outside of, or inland from Myrtle Beach, I should say. And then when I was 4 years old, the Army took me and my mom to El Paso, Texas. And then, from there, met my stepdad when I was 6. They got married when I was 8. And then, from the time I was 4 years old, from the time I moved here when I was 22, I grew up in El Paso, Texas.
Nice. Okay. So what brought you from Texas to Mooresville, North Carolina was actually the school, actually trying to get into racing and stuff?
Yeah, so I remember having a pretty deep conversation with my parents at the time. And shout out to my parents. They have always supported me 1,000% in everything I've wanted to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, they're great. And I've had a lot of crazy hobbies. I mean, I grew up racing motocross, did snowboarding. I mean, I tried to get into mountain biking at one point. I played the normal stick and ball sports. So one day I told them, I was like, hey, kind of done racing bikes now, but I still want to do something in motorsports. What do you guys think about, me trying to be a mechanic on a race team, something like that? And they were like, well, sounds awesome. Like, you're mechanically apt. They were like, you love cars, you love bikes, you've already gone racing, you know how that is. So they said, why don't you do some research and see if there's any schools out there for that? So I don't even remember what I typed in. I think I typed in something like racing school or NASCAR school, something like that. Obviously the first thing that popped up was NTI here in Mooresville.
Nice.
At least back when it was called NTI. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, now
anymore.
it's UTI.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
UTI Mooresville campus with NASCAR Performance Lab, or some long, ridiculous name.
Right. I did my research. I actually still remember the name of the recruiter that got me to go to the school. I won't mention any names, but
was it a good experience?
Yeah. It
throw a name out there. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, in that case, shout out to Mr. Daniel Elias. He was the one. Don't know if he still works there now. It's been 3 years, obviously, but pretty sure he was working out of Avondale. Back when I talked to him about going to NTI. And it got me excited to definitely take my first few steps into that world. I wasn't a stranger to racing. Obviously motocross, and then my entire family being from the South. I mean, huge NASCAR fans. My great uncle, he's actually a NASCAR driver himself.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
You got to tell me some backstory on that then.
So he never did anything big. But
Like national series wise?
right, right. It was more like local, regional stuff. His name's Johnny Calhoun.
Okay. That sounds like a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, yeah. He acted like a NASCAR driver. You take any driver out of the 70s, 80s, Petty, Earnhardt, all those legends, and like you roll them into one, and that was him. I mean,
Nice.
super awesome guy, fearless.
And you've met him, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so you
yes.
met him, you hung out with him. That kind of like led you to.
It was him, growing up, just hearing stories about him from back in the day from my mom and my aunt and all them. My grandfather was his crew chief. My grandfather was actually a Chevrolet mechanic for 30 or 40 years. So, I mean, I can contribute that to my love for Chevys and
GM and whatnot.
correct. Yeah. And NASCAR, he was a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. Just because of that, to this day, the number 3, that's still my favorite. Even though I never really got to watch him race myself. Yeah, those guys inspired me. Growing up, I mean, obviously being in Texas, I was very disconnected from my family. And the only time I'd really get to see them is when I would go on, holidays, Christmas, the summertime.
You were living in El Paso, but the majority of your family was in
South Carolina and Conway.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, right. And I was attached to the hip to my grandpa. I mean, like me and him were identical. Like he didn't really like to go out. More introverted. I mean, he was a quiet, laid back guy. Kept to himself mostly. I think that's always why me and him really got along.
Yeah, you are kind of one of the quieter ones I ran into.
Yeah,
which is nuts because you fulfilled, and we're gonna get to it, but you fulfilled one of my like all time bucket lists, plus.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah. So definitely him. He is I would say my grandpa specifically. He definitely set me on that path. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. He did pass away a few years ago, which it would have been pretty awesome for him to see me at this point.
Oh, he saw you.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that. He saw you.
Yeah, it was pretty special. When I first got into NASCAR, I mean, first time I got hired onto a Cup team, I mean, I had so many people calling me from back home, and I think every single thing that someone had to say was, your grandfather would have been ecstatic. Like,
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
over the moon.
You know what? And it's even better that your family, like everyone that called you, is recognizing that. Because guess what? He had a huge part in their lives, and he knew how much it meant to you. So they just like echoed it right to you, whether you knew it was coming or not. So that's awesome. So you land in Mooresville, and so you come here specifically to go to NTI.
Correct.
All right. So you start NTI. Is it everything that the recruiter kind of made it up to be? Was it kind of like this bullshit, or tell me about it? I don't care, man. I don't work for them anymore.
Yeah. No. No. It I like to tell. I still have plenty of kids, that still ask me to this day, how'd you get into it? And I was like, just started going to school for it, and I'll point them to NTI.
Yeah.
Or pretty much anywhere that has like a pretty solid automotive program and something that maybe not a dedicated racing program, but I mean, something that can kind of help them get their feet wet.
Kind of understand what a car is.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. And everything's what you make of it. I mean, no, it wasn't exactly like he said it would be. He was like, oh, you guys are going to be building engines and putting them in cars and then competing against each other and stuff like that. And so, it wasn't, of course, as you know, it wasn't exactly like that.
Right.
But it definitely, I took everything that you and the other instructors were able to teach me and pass on, and then I modified that, and in a way that I knew I could use it to be successful.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, right, and that's something that you guys all told us. I mean, that's something they teach there, and I've heard it over and over again, like, oh, the school's a waste of money and a waste of time and this and that. And I'm like, well, regardless of what it may have seemed like it offered or promised, I was like, it's still a conscious choice to either put in the effort or not put in the effort.
100%.
It yeah, I mean, while I was there, like, I'm not gonna say I never had doubts. There were some times when it got tough, and I mean, I actually think, I don't know if you remember this, at the that whole graduation speech thing they had me do. I specifically remember mentioning that story. Mr. Carroll, yeah, yeah, that story was completely true.
Well, these guys weren't here for it, so you're gonna have to bring it
Yeah,
up a little bit.
so yeah, so yeah, at that graduation, basically, yeah, one day I had gone into Mr. Carroll's office.
So he's Mr. Carroll, just for background, he's the guy that does. He used to be an instructor. Now he does like the MSAT coordinating, right? So if you want to do an extra curricular activity, you want to do forward, Mopar, NASCAR, you want to go to a different campus to do something else. He's kind of the one that key point person that would organize it.
Correct.
So, yep, you're in his office.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, one day I had kind of just had enough of it. I'd been applying to teams, going to shops, talking to my buddies, trying to get my foot in the door that way for months. And I mean, like, almost the entire time that I'd been at NTI. I mean, I think the second week I walked right into Penske and tried to get a job. And, of course, they were like, and I didn't even ask if they were hiring. I remember verbatim what I said. I said, is there a crew chief or another hiring manager that I could talk to? Lady at the front desk immediately said no, and she saw the NTI shirt I had on. Said, of course you go to NTI, yes. She said, well, if you want to apply online, after graduation, we can give you an internship. So yeah, after many experiences like that in the beginning, I went to Mr. Carroll's office and I said, hey, like I'm paying an extra $10,000 for this this extracurricular course, essentially the NASCAR program.
Yep.
And I don't feel like it's worth it anymore because, like, I've been trying and digging, working my butt off, just really trying to get my foot in the door. Nothing's really working. And
so at this point, you were done with core in the NASCAR program?
So at this point, I was in Engines 1.
Okay.
Which is, of course, that's the second to last course, if I'm not mistaken, in core.
Just about, yeah.
Right before Engines 2. Which is exactly why I went and did it at that time. I was like, this is, if I'm going to do this, it needs to happen now because this is like a good leeway because I'm about to transition. So if I'm going to drop it, I need to drop it now so I can get into this next class that's about to graduate. So, yeah, I went into his office, talked to him about it a little bit, expressed my concerns, and he basically started listing off teams, and he's like, well, who have you talked to? And I told him, like, all the big ones, Penske, Gibbs, Hendrick, all those big guys, Junior. He said, have you talked to, Vassar Sullivan? Have you talked to Action Express? Have you talked to so-and-so? I said, no, I don't even know who those guys are.
Yeah, some teams that you're just like, who?
Right.
Yeah, you're shooting up here, and he's like, bring it down a little bit.
Right.
That's fair.
Of course. Yeah, and he, and I mean, in their own right, those teams are massive in their own right. But I had never heard of them. And he kind of looked at me and he was like, yeah, you don't know crap. He was like, he actually, guy you just had on the show, Mr. Bill Henderson.
Yep.
He actually sent me to talk to him. He said, I want you to go talk to him about his experiences and see if he can't convince you to change your mind.
Yep.
So yeah, that day, actually, after school, I actually walked over to Mr. Henderson's class. Um, I think we maybe had it was, short to the point conversation. It was about 10, 15 minutes. And yeah, Mr. Henderson and Mr. Carroll are essentially the reason that I am still on this path, and I've had the experiences that I've had so far.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. So obviously you haven't seen it because it's not out yet, but one of the things that I love to highlight about that man, one, he's one reason why I'm doing this, right? Like he's a mentor to me. Going back to graduation speeches, he has said some stuff that has just reverberated within my spine. And I'm just like, I like that. And we talked about it, like, be the person. Oh God, I'm gonna butcher it again. He fixed it for me, and I butchered it when he did it. But it was basically be the person that your grandkid would, just brag about. Like, well, my granddad did this. Yeah, but my granddad does this. Like, be that like ultimate conversation ender. So things like that he says, he's always very positive. And like everything, right? Nobody's ever born like that. He's gone through some experiences that have just shaped, him, and it's nuts. But he's been involved with so many people in the world. I'm not just going to say in the racing world, right? But like just across that, his stories are just like, dude, this is nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, they shout out to those guys. I cannot thank them enough. I mean, there's literally nothing I could do to ever thank them enough for having the patience with me, and just being willing to give me their time like that, and share that experience and those stories with me to keep me on the path that I'm on today.
Nice.
So yeah, those guys are awesome.
So not only what you learned about fab and the NASCAR course, right? That's one thing, but another thing that maybe helped you out was like the networking, like by talking to Mr. Henderson and Bill,
Right.
Kind of like understanding the backstage of the game, so to speak.
Right. Big time.
So, all right, you get done with school, you do the NASCAR program, you graduate valedictorian because you gave the speech, right? Something like that.
No. So our oh man, I don't remember his name. No, I was not valedictorian in my graduating class. That graduation speech was a graduation panel that they had
Oh,
brought.
that's right.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Right. That was earlier at the beginning of this year.
So not gonna lie, another reason why I was like, you know what, this is cool if I can get like individual ones. So like, I tapped Justin.
Yep.
He's working with
Penske.
Well, I was gonna say the name, but he's working with Penske now, and he's going through like PR to see if he can do this. So because I know he's got to have interesting stories too, because now he's working for Penske.
Yep.
So yeah, that kind of like triggered like a lot of little things triggered another student that she did a podcast randomly with someone else, and she shared it on social media, and it's her story of everything that she's done. So I was like, dude, it was like culmination of like Mr. Henderson and my experiences with NTI, seeing your panel, seeing Lucy. So it was like, dude, this has to happen. Yeah. Too many people are like, how do I go vroom vroom? How do I do this? How do I do that? So it's like, all right, this has to happen. And everybody's like, oh, this is all budget.
Yeah.
It is on the cheap side.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
All right, so while you're at school, did you find a race team? Did you find a shop to go work for? Or?
So while I was in school still, the one thing I will say is, at least in my experience, obviously everyone's is different. The one thing I will say is that most teams out here, at least from what I noticed, they want somebody that's already graduated.
Okay.
Because they want you there full time as much as possible. There's no better way to learn than obviously on the job.
Okay.
Everything that, and of course it's you, Mr. Henderson. Big shout out to Mr. Kazura. I think I had him for the entirety of the NASCAR course, which is almost unheard of.
That's another one I want to have on.
Yeah, that man is awesome. Another big mentor for me. But yeah, no, a lot of those teams, like I said, that I noticed, they want you to be able to be there every day and commit as much time as possible because they want you to get up to speed as fast as possible.
Yep.
Racing is it can be very tough and a very volatile field. And a lot of those guys, for them at least, and it's not a bash to anybody. It's not a negative thing. If anything, I would see it as a positive. They like to, or have a tendency to teach you or talk to you, I should say, the way that they would talk to somebody that's been doing it for 10 years.
Okay.
It's very, and that's what I mean by volatile. It's very cutthroat in that sense that you have to be a fast learner and you have to be attentive and switched on at all times. And they tell you there's nothing wrong with asking questions, which is completely true. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. I would say you start to have an issue when,
like, you ask the same question
a million times, and then you go and do something, and then after they've explained it a million times, you still mess up.
100%. That, you know what, that goes for everything.
Yeah.
So I had you in class. How many times did I say write it down? Like, take your notes. Like,
right.
if you're doing training, it doesn't matter where it is. It can be in the classroom. It could be on the job training. If somebody's taking the time to tell you, hey, step 1 through 10, this is exactly how you do it. Wait, hold on. Give me 1 second so I don't have to have you repeat it again. Let me write it down real quick. Pull your phone out, type it up, voice memo, whatever it is. Like, and then, oh man, how did that happen? How was I supposed to do that? Oh, that's right. Done.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with asking questions, but don't ask, hey, where's the brake clean?
Yeah.
For the 50th time.
Right. Yeah, and it's not that big of a deal in the long run, but I mean, it's just like it's all kind of a test. It's a test that attributes to the things that I mentioned. It's like, how attentive is this kid? How switched on is he? I mean, because if you can't pay attention in the beginning when they have you doing quote unquote menial task at the shop, then how can they trust you to do important major task that has major consequences at the track?
Yeah.
So that was my experience initially. Sorry, we kind of veered off a little bit. Yeah, when I was still in school, I actually worked at a dealership. I worked at Audi Northlake.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. Shout out to those guys as well. My service manager, Matthew Woods, Michael Saucedo, the shop foreman there. Those guys really taught me a lot. Worked with a lot of really cool guys there. And that definitely gave me a foundation.
You were wrenching there?
Correct.
Nice.
Yeah, I was I don't want to say a lube tech because technically Audi doesn't have lube techs.
Quick service or quick lane, whatever their term is.
Right. Yeah. There though, and of course you worked for Audi at one point.
I didn't have that.
Right.
I worked for them before Quick Lube and Quick Lane. You were a tech. You did everything. It came through the door. It was here.
Right. Exactly. They that's kind of how that dealership is to this day. It's more from what I've heard from guys that I still know that work there. It has transitioned to more just being that kind of quick lane guy. But before, at least when I was there, you had a choice to also do what we call quote unquote main shop work.
Okay.
So, I mean, even when I was working over in the quick lane side, and the entire reason for that was I made it clear to Matt day one when I started working. I said, hey, this is my goal. This is not a forever job. Like, I need wrenching experience so I can go racing. And he 100% backed me.
I mean, you chose a very, I don't want to say difficult, because I mean, I did for way too long. For me, is like cake. But you definitely chose a little bit higher of a difficulty level compared to like a Honda to get your experience. So for that, I applaud you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, it was a learning curve for sure. As you know, Audis can be a
Pain in the dick.
yeah, very technical.
I'll have to beep that one out.
Very technical. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't just like doing oil changes and like tire rotations and stuff. I mean, I was doing like motor mounts.
Oh, that's cake.
Yeah.
Engine mounts are cake. Tell me when you have to do a water leak under warranty for a Q7 with a panel roof, and it's like, all right, where's it coming from? Oh, the tail light.
Right. Yeah, there were a few like that. I want to say my most involved one, just for a quick lane guy, was probably a timing chain.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, experience gets that done. Like timing chain on what? Don't say 2 liter. Don't say 4-cylinder.
Yeah, 2 liter.
Oh, dude, I can do that with my eyes closed.
2 liter. Yeah, man. That was I still remember the first one that I did. And I had help with it, obviously. Like, my team lead wasn't gonna let me just do a timing chain, never having done one on an Audi before like that. But yeah, from there, I started shadowing a little bit. I kind of became an apprentice for a little bit. And then that's pretty much how I gained my
Wrenching experience?
my base wrenching experience.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Back in the day, Audi had this huge oil consumption issues from like 2000, and realistically it was like the 09 4-liter or the 09 2-liter 4-cylinder up to like 13 ish, and then they like finally fixed the oil consumption issue, and their fix was put bigger pistons in it. So you would pull the head off and you could literally rock the piston. You put it at TDC and you could rock it back and forth. Like, it had that much play in it.
Wow.
You would go and they would put basically a tighter tolerance piston in it, and that would fix the oil consumption issue. So, it did. It improved it a lot because obviously less area for the oil to blow by into the combustion chamber. But at the time when I first started doing that, Audi was paying warranty almost like 26, 27 hours, depending on how you wrote it.
Wow.
So by the time I got out of Audi, they were paying down to, I want to say like 17, 18 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like, they just started chopping warranty time off. Well, by the time, so the first engine job I did, nobody in the shop wanted to do it. So I was like, all right, give me. I'll do it. I'll knock this out. So I had moved from Pembroke Pines, Florida, so Pines Audi, up to Bluegrass Audi.
Okay.
And right before I left Pembroke Pines, it was starting to become this common thing to see these engines coming in. So when I got to Bluegrass Audi, I was like, well, I just saw somebody do some tricky stuff.
Right.
Let me start getting them. First one I did probably took me like 18 hours. So I still made time on it, but it took me like 3 days kind of to pull the engine out, tear it all apart, old pistons out, new pistons in, and slam it all back together. So about 3 days worth of work. I was like, okay. By the time I was the only one in the shop that was pretty much doing it. So it was like a deal with me and the rest of the techs. Hey, you guys do all the gravy oil consumption measurements. I'll do the pistons.
Yeah.
And it was only like the timing chain 2 liters. My buddy next to me, Andy, he liked doing the timing belt 2 liters, which was the previous generation, because those are in the car.
Right.
So it was like we had like an engine build off like every other day.
Yeah.
By the time I was done that I left Audi, my fastest engine was just under 7 hours.
Wow.
So pull the car in. I'd pull it in the night before so it'd cool down. Engine out, drop the fluids. Next morning come in, and it was just like hammer time. Just pull the engine out, never put it in service mode, and just went to ham on it.
Yeah.
Put it all back together that night, started up, drove it home for my test drive. I only had one hose ever pop off, and it was like the quick connect hoses with the Jesus clip on it.
Right.
It clipped half in. So halfway home, I had about a 40-mile drive home. Halfway home, I see a plume of steam out of the engine. I was like, oh no. Pull into a gas station. I was like, I need water. I saw the hose was popped off. I was like, I just need water. They're like, well, here's a wrench. I was like, what? I pulled in the wrong gas station. Here's a wrench. I'm like, cool. I had to go and buy a big gulp cup. I couldn't even have it. I had to buy it. And I literally had to go and like big cup by big cup fill up this car. But I got home, took it back to the dealership next morning, dropped the water out, put fresh cool in it, shipped it. Yeah. That was my Audi story. Sorry, totally hijacked it from you. So Audi's your wrenching experience. You graduate, you're still at Audi Northlake?
Correct.
And how long after graduation did you finally get into a racing team? What team, if you don't mind talking about it or whatnot?
Yeah, so actually to backtrack a little bit, so I had started at Audi Northlake. Let me see. Actually, I'm sorry. I was working at Audi Northlake while I was going to school.
Mm-hmm.
I started there as a porter. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, that's essentially like they call it a valet as well.
You were almost down the same exact path as me.
Right.
Just want to let you know.
Yeah. That's kind of, I think that's the path that a lot of young kids take when they're first getting in. I mean, it's a very entry-level, easy job. Right. It's literally just to get your feet wet.
Whatever you do, don't sideswipe a brand new A8 on the side of the building.
Exactly.
Ever. Because I did that.
Oh, man.
Like a month in, I was pulling an A8 in to the service drive, and there was like a weird U-shaped service drive. Mm-hmm. And there was a bunch of cars blocking it. And I was like, oh, I can get this A8L to fit where a TT could go. It's totally fine. Insult to injury. My service manager at the time was right in front of the car. And he's just like stone-faced. Like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
And I pull the car around. I get out of the car. He goes, didn't you feel that? I was like, feel what? And I looked back, and the whole, it was just a little tiny lip of like the quarter fender right above the tire. Mm-hmm. Where like the whole thing was just white, and it was a black car. And I was like, oh no, oh, I fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as you admit your screw ups and you don't hide crap, it's most of the time okay.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe.
Big maybe, especially in that situation. Thankfully, I never had anything of that magnitude.
Good job.
No, I was a porter there for about. It wasn't very long. I mean, it was before I transitioned. It was about, I want to say probably 4 or 5 months, something like that. And yeah, I had I had been talking to Matt, the service manager, and I had made it known to the general manager as well. We call her KB. That I had an interest in obviously going back to the shop because, and I was straight up with Matt. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to go racing. I need some mechanical experience. Mm-hmm. I'd love to get back in the shop. I knew that we were looking for techs at the time. And of course, for anybody that doesn't know, Hendrick loves to hire from within. That's how they promote. That's how they do things. So, yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't weasel your way into HMS.
Yeah. So, I that's for we can get into that later.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, about 4 or 5 months I want to say. My numbers might be off. But yeah, and then I was literally, and if this tells you anything about how serious I've been since I moved here about everything that I've done, everything I've done has been with intention.
Yep.
I can literally tell you exactly, and I can see it in my head right now, what I was doing when KB told me that I was going to be a mechanic. I'm literally outside. It's literally cloudy. It's like 6, 7 o'clock at night. Just another day. I'm putting a dealer, quote unquote dealer plate. It's just the brand plate,
Yep.
like Hendrick, Audi, whatever, on the back of this car. I'm putting that on, literally squatting down, screwing this plate on, and KB walks out and she's like, "How you doing? Good." Small talk. She's like, "You still want to be a tech?" And I said, "Yeah, heck yeah." And she was like, "Well, I've been talking to Matt about it, and we're gonna move you back to the shop." Said, so we'll get everything situated, and we'll move you back to the shop on Monday. I think this was a Friday.
Hell yeah.
So at that point, I'm ecstatic. I mean, like it's not where I want to be yet, but I mean, it's a step in the right direction.
Yep.
So while I'm working, so I had started at Audi Northlake. Sorry, if I can backtrack a little bit. I started going to NTI in September of 22. I started working at Audi Northlake in January of 23.
Okay.
So around May or June of 2023 is when I started working as a tech. So I moved back to the shop. While I had been working at Audi, I want to say, yeah, in November, December timeframe of 2023. Fast forward a little bit. After I'd already been wrenching there for a little bit, I actually reached out to a race team called Alpha Prime Racing.
Yep.
They're based here out of Mooresville. They're in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually a buddy of mine. Shout out David. David Brazil. He's actually the one that told me to check them out. So yeah, from there, I went in one day, just walked in. I mean, that is the best way to do it, honestly.
See, he was on the panel too, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. So David is an awesome guy.
Yes, he is.
Extremely nice, extremely switched on. He's one of the best people you'll ever meet. Yeah, David, he actually transitioned out too. He's doing his own thing now.
Really?
Yeah. He is. There's very, very few people I know that was a part of our graduating class now that I know they're still actively in it.
In motorsports?
Correct.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've kept up with those guys for the most part, especially obviously the ones in my immediate friend circle.
Yep.
Yeah, David.
Well, don't ruin it because I want to have him on here too.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah, no, but he's doing his own thing now. But yeah, he's the one that referred me to Alpha Prime. So, I walked in one day, had a copy of my resume with me, obviously. I literally walked in, and this is Alpha Prime, for anybody that doesn't know, is a very small team.
Yep. Well, back then, I think, maybe 2-car team?
2 full-time, 1 part-time car.
Yep.
So the 43, the 44, and the 45. So, yeah, I walk in one day. There is I see maybe one guy in the middle of the shop working on a car. There's nobody else around except 2 other guys that are peeling the wrap off of a Sprinter van. So I'm like, okay, what did I walk into? So I'm literally standing there for about 2 minutes before anybody acknowledges me. And I'm like, finally I was like, hey, is Tommy Joe Martin's here? They said, yeah, he's upstairs in his office, and I completely missed it. It's in his office, which is literally this loft they built out of plywood.
Hey, man, better than a coat closet.
Exactly, yeah, no, and I literally, I look up and I'm like, oh, right there. So, walk up the stairs, and more on this guy later, but there's a guy sitting there with him. He's actually the crew chief, or at least he was when I was there, on the 44. Frank Kerr. Yeah, so he's up there with Frank, and I got my resume in, and I'm like, hey, me and him had already been emailing a little bit, talking about me starting there. Like, hey, yeah, just wanted to actually come in and introduce myself and, let you look over my resume and stuff. And we did an interview right then and there. And yeah, he said, I'm definitely looking for some more help, some younger guys that, can help grow the team, and that we can train up to kind of be here semi-long term. And he said, and mind you, at the time, I want to say at this time hourly at Audi, I was making 17 an hour. And then eventually I would get a pay increase, but I was making 17 an hour at Audi, just coming out of school. And as a matter of fact, it may have been after the pay increase, so I might have been making 22 an hour at this point. But the reason I tell you that is because when I walked in that interview, before he gave me the job, he said, I can pay you $100 a day.
Damn.
That is the equivalent of $10 an hour.
Yep.
For the hours we were working with, mind you, no overtime.
Yep. $100 a day.
Exactly. Flat. And this is with me coming in, shop opens at 7, and there is no leave time. We leave and we're done working. So leave time on paper is technically 4 p.m. On average, when I was there, because usually I would work there at Audi, we would have what Matt would call a 4-day, 5-day schedule.
Yep.
Which is very unorthodox for a lot of dealers. But yeah, that's essentially, we would work 4 days on for 3 weeks, and then 4 days on for about 2 weeks, and then we have 2 days off the third week, and then the fourth week we'd go on a 5-day and have 5 days off straight. So anytime that I was not working at the dealer,
you were working there.
Correct. I was doing anything and everything I could to gain as much experience and build as much rapport with those guys as possible.
So your time off was when you slept.
Exactly.
Nice.
It was, everything else was work.
You were hustling, man. I mean, that's kind of what I'm not going to say it takes, right? But you can't just, I guess some people can, but you can't just sacrifice your living income, right? Your actual wages, and then throw it in the wind and just go race for $100 a day. Like that's hard. And that's why I used to tell, students when they were in school, it's like, go get some type of experience now. Because when you leave, at least you have something under your belt. But you had the wrenching experience under your belt. Now you're kind of like incorporating that racing experience.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like I said, there are any days that I could be there. And yeah, sometimes we wouldn't leave the shop until 8, 9 o'clock. I've been there until midnight at sometimes. So it was definitely it was a really good first experience. It definitely helped me reinforce the grit that I needed to have to be able to do that job.
So what were you doing at Alpha Prime?
Yeah. So my official title was race mechanic, but I wasn't, obviously being a new rookie, I wasn't a race mechanic in the normal sense. I was literally doing like new guy stuff. So I mean,
sweep floors, clean the wheels.
Right, exactly.
Wrap off.
Exactly, like basic stuff. Again, like I mentioned before, that test.
Yep.
And I remember these words to this day that the crew chief over there told me. He said, you have to be comfortable, and I don't remember the exact verbiage he used. He essentially said you have to be comfortable doing grunt work.
Yep.
Like very menial, almost, at least to what a new guy would perceive as meaningless task. And yeah, the first day I was there, he had me clean a chassis on a rotisserie. all by
That
myself.
is all grunt work.
Yeah.
That is all the rubber, all the nastiness.
Yep.
Yeah, that is definitely grunt work.
Exactly. On this giant, if for anybody that doesn't know, a rotisserie is, we call it a rotisserie because it's essentially these two giant stands. They connect into the chassis of a car, at least as far as Xfinity and truck goes.
Yep.
Not sure on the Cup side. I don't believe they do that anymore. But yeah, and it's essentially this, literally what it sounds like a chicken or a, in the movies, the hogs on the rotisseries, and you literally turn it and it rotates the entire chassis for you. So yeah, that's literally what I was doing, and this chassis is white.
But it could have been worse.
It could have
You
been.
could have been cleaning that chassis on jack stands underneath,
Exactly.
just on your back. It could have been way worse.
Which I have done.
Yep.
But it yeah, no, it was great. It was great that it was on that for sure. Yeah, this chassis is white. Anybody that has never cleaned tire rubber off of a race car, it does not want to come off.
And it's not just tire rubber. It's tire rubber, the asphalt, because the
Dirt.
asphalt does come up, dirt, grass.
Exactly.
I mean, everything.
Any
Brake
grease
dust,
that was
grease,
on
yep.
there. Yep, brake dust. Yeah, so that was pretty much my task for that day. Pretty much took me almost all day. And yeah, by the time I was done, he was like, "You still want to work here?" And I said, "Hell yeah."
Nice.
So yeah, from there, kind of long story short, they basically built me up, week by week. Started giving me tasks with a little more responsibility. And I mean, eventually I kind of went from doing almost part-time new guy stuff to like, I might as well have been there full time. I mean, I started helping out on the setup plate, just watching the engineer there as much as I could, listening to the crew chiefs, which by the way, Frank, Mike Hillman Sr., which Kazura and Bill both know very well.
Pretty sure that name came up in the podcast. If not, I've heard it recently.
Yeah. Both of those guys, a magnitude of experience. I mean, 30 combined 100 plus years of experience in stock car racing.
Nice.
So great guys to learn from for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could have chosen a better first team to start with. And to give you a little bit of context on these guys, Frank is known as the, not a bash against Frank. I thought Frank was cool. He was a great guy. Frank is known as the biggest hard ass on pit road.
Okay.
Yeah, he and his biggest thing, it used to make me laugh all the time. He loved to say "guy," especially to me because he new
Like,
guy.
hey guy.
Yes, new guy. Did not care whatsoever. I was there part time, and so that made it even worse.
No name, just guy.
Guy. He never once called me by my real name. He either said "Hey kid" or he said "Hey guy." So yeah, every time, and I literally couldn't even be doing something wrong. This is just old grizzled NASCAR crew chief stuff.
Yep.
Literally just like, "Hey guy, what are you doing?" I would literally be sitting there working on something, and I'm like, I'm working on this, and he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Looks like you ain't doing much," and
I can just imagine you just like cleaning the inside of the wheel, like that's just nasty, just grinding away sweat, and it's like, hey guy, what you doing? The hell does it look like I'm doing?
exactly. That is to a T. And that's not just them. Obviously, that's anywhere you go is new and racing.
100%. You know what? And it's not even racing. It could be a shop.
Right. It
draining oil in a freaking dealership. What you doing? Rotating tires.
Exactly. Yeah. It's and yeah, no, he'd always say that. I mean, another time in particular, I mean, I'm literally leaning over the engine bay and I'm watching the other crew chief, like trying to learn how to put an engine in the car.
The right way.
The right way.
Because there's a very wrong way of putting engines in cars.
There is a very wrong way to do it, and I've seen it multiple times.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm literally leaning over the engine bay, like my head is in the engine bay, and I'm trying to tighten down the engine mounts, the motor mounts for this engine. Trying to get this car ready to go race, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, this was the Daytona car. So yeah, he's like, hey guy, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just helping Mike put this engine in, and he's like, oh, it looks like you're leaning. You got time to lean, you got time to clean. If
Dude, that is a very military saying.
the most basic cliche saying he could have used for any old school guy like that.
Yep.
He literally dropped that on me. He said, come here, I got something for you to do. He literally pulls this old beat up radiator out that has every single fin on this radiator is flat. Which, for anybody that does not know how a radiator is supposed to look, it's not supposed to look like that. Air flows through it. It does not bounce off and go back.
Nope.
He literally hands me a 90-degree pick. And he said, I want you to go through and I want you to unbend every single one of these because we're going to reuse this.
With a pick.
With a pick.
There's a tool for that. It's literally a brush that you just put at the top and go. Phew.
I did this with a 90-degree pick. Each one.
That had to be a test.
I
think that had to be like a patience test.
You know what?
It had to be.
For my own sanity, I like to think of it as a test.
Now, if he had you do it twice, you did it twice.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a dick move.
Yeah, no, that was definitely I don't feel like you're contributing to anything, so I'm going to give you grunt work that I know is keeping you busy. God. So, but again, it was, I never saw any of those things. There was no resentment there. There was no, and I heard a great saying. It was from my most recent crew chief, actually. Leave your feelings at home.
100%.
That is any kid that watches this, anybody that's interested in going racing. That statement is 1,000% true to this day. After 3 years of doing this and being here, leave your feelings at home.
There's only one time you're allowed to show your feelings, and it's victory lane.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's that stuff and it's a callback to what I mentioned earlier. You get out what you put in.
100%.
You can either sit there and be all a crybaby. Essentially, there's no other way to put it, and feel sorry for yourself and be like, oh well, they're just doing this to be dicks, and no, there's maybe sometimes, but.
Or they're just, working you out to build you up, right?
Exactly. And there's a method to the madness, and they will put you through the paces to see how far you can go.
Were you happy when you gave the first radiator back to him?
Oh, yeah.
That was your problem. You were happy. You
Exactly.
didn't learn it yet. So he gave you another one. He goes, all right, let's try it again.
Oh, well, here's the best part. He literally, you should have seen the look on his face. I finished this thing in 30 minutes.
Damn.
Because
that's impressive with a pick.
I don't play around. Especially not when I'm the new guy. I had a chip on my shoulder in a good way.
Nice.
I was out to earn these guys' respect to the max. Anything they threw at me, I was like, I'm going to do it. And sometimes, admittedly, even when they gave me a task I did not know how to do, I just said, okay. And I did it to the best of my ability until I either was close to messing up or I was like, it's about to drive me insane. And I was forced to ask for help. So, which to this day, I'm still trying to figure out if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I mean, it shows your commitment to at least try new things, right?
Yeah.
If anything, it shows that. I mean, if I'm working on a 1,000+ horsepower hypercar, I'll probably ask off the rip.
Yeah.
Now an Xfinity car,
Yeah. But yeah, I finished this thing in 30 minutes, and I left it on the back table where he had me. Excuse me. And he said, I go over to him, I'm like, hey Frank, I'm done with that radiator. He said, you finished that? I said, yeah. you finished that whole thing. It's only been like 25, 30 minutes. And I said, yeah, you want to go look at it? He goes and looks at it, and he's like, okay, well, I got something else for you to do. And that wasn't the time when he ended up giving up the other one, but he ended up giving me some other
Grunt work.
I mean, yeah, it was like, peel the vinyl off this old hood or something like that. And I literally, there's another kid that started going to NTI after me there at the time, but he was slightly newer than me. And I remember after he had me do that, like I said, like I just wanted to get it done.
Yep.
So I could actually go back to learning and doing what I thought was important.
So one of the things, so I never had a crew chief. I had foremans, right? Shop foremans.
Yeah.
One of the things that, I mean, you said it in like probably the nicest way possible, but my foreman was like, here's the information, figure it out. Going back to that Q7 with the water leak, because that was the thing. And I tore this thing completely apart.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a water leak. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like kicking dust. And I'm like, oh, just lip slapping. Like, man, this is bullshit, this, that, whatever. And he comes over and he goes, the faster you get that done, the faster you can pull another job that probably makes you more money. I'm like, yeah, but this sucks, this, that. So that was the nice way of telling me. And then his name was Todd. Todd goes to me, he goes, dude, treat it like a cocked meat sandwich. Big bites and swallow and get it over with, because that is the only car you're working on until you're done with it. I was like, oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. The 100% big bites and swallow. I got it. So yeah, ever since that, it's like, you know what? Yeah, when you are in the suck, it sucks to suck. Just get over it.
Yep. That's like the golden rule. That's the mentality you have to have. And I mean, me, that wasn't anything new to me. That wasn't an adjustment because I come from a military family.
Yep.
Both my parents, my dad's a combat veteran. My mom's still in while she's still doing real estate. She's actually shout out to my mom. Not just got promoted, but she was just once again given a command sergeant major position here in Hickory.
Hell yeah.
So I'll be seeing a lot more of her. But yeah, she's been in the Army Reserves for 25 years. So my mom's another very major inspiration for me. My dad as well, obviously. But yeah, no, my dad actually brought that up the other day. He said, you just gotta embrace the suck. He said that's all it is sometimes. He calls it nug work. But yeah, that's literally, it never stopped being that. Racing is grunt work to a T.
Yep.
You just get grunt work that's requires a little more
Finesse
and know-how.
Yep.
So yeah, no, long story short, I spent about, started in January of 23 with Alpha Prime, or January of 24. January 24 with Alpha Prime, and then from there, my first race with them was Daytona, that's NASCAR's Super Bowl.
Yep.
So, I mean, being a 23-year-old kid at the time, and that's my first race ever, whether it was with a small team like them or a big team, I mean, it's time to perform.
Yep. So one of the things, and I remember Bill telling me this, or he didn't tell me. I overheard him telling another student that was in like a similar scenario where they were able to go to Daytona while they were still at school. They were able to go to the Daytona 500 weekend, and Bill goes to him and was like, when you walk in there and they're about to fire up engines for the first time, just stop and take it in, because it's never going to happen again. It's never going to be the first time again. So when they fire up 30, 40 cars on the grid for the first time, just stop. And you're going to zone out for like 2 minutes.
Oh.
That's all you get. and then you're right back at it because now you're in the race. You need to figure out what you got to do, and you're just hustling from that point on. Yep. But when they call driver start your engines, it's like take it in.
Yeah.
Because it never happens again. Well, you got another one that might happen again, but we'll get there hopefully eventually. So you're in Alpha Prime. You're at Daytona. How long? How was that race? Because Daytona's either checkers or wreckers. You're either finish the race or you're going home in buckets.
Well, there's a third option if you don't start the race.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Yeah, that race was, unfortunately...
So you didn't even get the driver start your engines?
No, not for my very first race, which for Daytona for my first race, that's pretty awesome. Just to be there. Exactly. For anybody, and you don't even have to go to a race if you walk by it. If anybody that's never been to Daytona is massive. Mm-hmm. Like it is, I cannot comprehend in NASCAR's heyday the amount of people that were sitting in those stands and for them to be sold out.
Yep.
Like
it's a 2.5 mile oval track and it is massive.
Exactly.
There's no other place. I mean, maybe Talladega.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's 2.5 miles of just sheer dominance is really it's awe-inspiring. The first time I walked in there, I want to say it was like 2002, 2003. No race going on. Yeah. We just did the Daytona USA experience, and we did the track tour. And same thing. It's like you go through these tunnels with the tram. You're going through these tunnels, and you're pretty much going underneath a wall, so to speak. And then you come out, and it's just like this massive racetrack. And like you don't see the other side of the track.
Yeah.
Like you see it, but you don't see it. Like it is far. Yeah. So if you're sitting in like turn 2, you ain't seeing turn 4. Like you're seeing dots going in a circle. And then forget about the cars in front of you. Like as they're passing you, they're blurs. So yeah, you have to, if you ever go watch from the stands, you have to know exactly where to sit.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the reasons the seats higher up are typically way more expensive than the seats all the way down, because you see blurs or dots. Yeah,
exactly. No, that's the perfect way to describe it. Like Bill said, literally, they told me the exact same thing. I mean, that's literally what I did. I just took it all in.
So you went from doing grunt work, straightening out a radiator in the shop. What was your job, so to speak, at the track?
So when we got to the track, my job was essentially the same thing. It was literally shut up, pay attention, do what I tell you to do.
Fair.
Which that's literally what I did. I mean, help unload the haulers, get the car set up on stands, and literally get it ready to go for practice. Nice. So, I want to say the biggest thing that had me do the entire time I was there was grease the springs.
Increase the springs?
Grease the springs.
Grease the springs.
Gotcha. That's literally it. Was just put red grease on these springs. And then pretty much just went around and did what you would think a new guy would do, and took valve caps off for the tire guy and just put them back on. And
pull them off, he sets the pressures, put them back on.
Literally. That's it. That was like, and just learn as much as I can. Obviously help push the pit box. Some other stuff that we had needed on pit road when he was getting ready to go for qualifying. Wipe the car down, obviously. Throw the those big old white dots they use for the Hawkeye, the scanner, on the windshields. That's literally it, though.
And trackside grunt work.
Exactly. It's literally what you would think a new kid would be doing.
All right. So time it off of Prime. You go through a couple of races, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Hopefully you finally get your gentleman start, or your driver start your engines.
Right, Darlington.
Okay, second race.
Yeah, my second race with them, my only other race with them,
Okay.
Darlington. I was I've got a picture of this somewhere. I was a sign holder.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to do something.
Yeah, right. Other than put valve caps on.
I'd rather hold a sign than put valve caps on. All right. So, what comes after Alpha Prime?
Yeah. So after Alpha Prime, this is where I take a massive leap, and I mean massive. So I'd been working at Audi Northlake for about a year and a half now.
Which is good time. Like if you're in it for a year and a half at a dealership, it's like you have some level of commitment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, those guys were awesome. Yeah. So I had been with Alpha Prime for about 4 or 5 months. And I saw an opening at Hendrick Motor Sports for a quote unquote, what they call a pit specialist.
Okay.
So, and if Matt ever sees this, I'm telling him this now that I'm getting on him for misconstruing that job title and telling everybody that I had gotten hired on as a pit crew guy, which nothing could be further from the truth.
Pit specialist. I can only assume you were just doing valve stems, valve caps for a cup team now.
You know what? It was... So to explain basically a synopsis of what a pit specialist does at Hendrick, it's very much an entry-level position. You work as a mechanic in the pit department. The pit department is its own building.
Yep.
It's completely separate and autonomous from what they call the 5.9 and the 24 and the 48 shops.
So I think I know a little bit, so you can correct me on this. So if you ever get to visit HMS campus,
Yep.
you have the gift shop.
Yep.
And behind the gift shop is a gym.
Yep.
Okay. That's it. There's a corner of the campus that is only pit crew.
Yep.
And then you have the engine building.
Yep.
And then you have the actual car garages where the vehicles get assembled.
Correct.
And it's very much, hey, your job is engines. This other person's job is car assembly and tear down and whatnot.
Yep.
Then you have your pit specialist or your pit side. And also HMS pretty much builds pit crews.
Yep.
Where they farm out to different cup teams and Xfinity teams and even truck teams.
Exactly.
Okay. So, yeah, just going into the weeds on that one.
Yeah, so little fun fact actually, the building with all the garages attached to the gym is actually the super secret defense department.
Shh.
Yeah.
So, oh God, what is the name of it? The ISV infantry scout vehicle or something like that?
Yeah, the Bradley. Yep. And Strikers.
Well, no. There's a new truck out there. It's based on the Colorado. Fat Electrician just made a video on it.
Yep.
And so I believe it's called the ISV infantry scout vehicle or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much a dune buggy on a Colorado chassis.
Right.
I'm 99.999% sure Hendrick has something to do with that. We'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
Because not too many people know that. And it's like cool that back in 22, 23, I knew somebody that allegedly had a job there and they're like, they're building some cool shit.
Yeah. No, definitely. We weren't even allowed in there.
No.
You were not allowed in there unless you're supposed to be in there.
Yep. But guess what? You see the shit coming out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you brought up we just called it the pit pad. So for anybody that's never been to Hendrick Motor Sports is massive.
Mm-hmm.
There are, not including the buildings that aren't in use anymore, there's like 10 different buildings.
So that's just there.
Yes.
Hendrick has like his own personal car collection there, which isn't all of them.
Yep.
He has warehouses like all around Charlotte and Concord and everywhere. And allegedly, he's got warehouses full of engines, like old Cup and Xfinity engines. He's got warehouses of bodies,
Yep.
not human bodies. That sounds real morbid. Race car bodies and chassis and just like KBM's wins and Gordon cars. And you're just like, where?
Yeah.
It's like super top secret, different locations. And I was just like HMS is so massive. I used to think Penske was huge in like, no, HMS is just a totally different level.
Yeah.
Penske has trucks. HMS has, well, Penske has car dealer too, but HMS has car dealership, or Hendrick has car dealerships, defense contracts, just everything. It's crazy how huge that mini empire is.
Yeah. No, Mr. H, he's got a lot of crap, a lot of cool stuff.
Did you ever get to tour his museum?
I did. So I actually toured it before I started working there. So my dealership, someone's still going to have to explain this to me. If anybody from HAG corporate, Hendrick Motor Group corporate sees this, I need you to explain to me why Audi Northlake is the poster child for Hendrick.
Because it's Audi. Come on, man.
Right. But, well, I think it's the location too. Northlake, like it's like right in the center of everything.
Well, let's think about it. What do you have near there, right? So you have Audi Northlake.
Yep.
You have BMW, Lexus, and Mercedes.
Yep.
Well,
they're adding an Acura too.
So Honda.
Yep. Basically.
You're not going to shout out Lexus too much because Chevy.
Yep.
Well, Mercedes and BMW and Audi are the only thing that's left, and the best one's Audi.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Yeah. Fun fact, actually, his granddaughter worked there with us.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
She has a Corvette.
She's got more than that.
Oh, I know that, but I know she has a dedicated Corvette in that museum, or unless she's already gotten it.
She does. For anybody else that doesn't know that, yes, each of his grandkids has their own car already. They all have C7s.
So what I remember hearing on the tour is, I don't know if it started with like his kids or his grandkids, but he would buy a car from the year they were born.
Yep.
So it would really suck if you were born in like the 90s.
Right.
I'd be totally fine being born like today.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was what he said, and I'd be like, yeah, like why? Wait a minute. Like they get a C8? Like why? And then I get this old C5?
You probably also have been working at an HMS or Hendrick something for a while, making your own.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's yeah, a lot of cool stuff like that there. So yeah, the pit department is like you were saying before. You go in the little back corner of the campus, behind where the gym and the defense building is, and next to his Mr. H's museum where he has his personal collection. That is the pit department. When you walk up to the pit pad, there's actually bleachers there that you can sit on to view practice. And then if you look off to the right a little bit, connected to that building is a giant garage door. That is our shop. At any one time, at least when I was there, I don't know about now, there's 3 of us. So for whatever reason, when I was there, it was part-time. To my knowledge, it's still a part-time position. I don't agree with that whatsoever for the amount of work that it takes, but, that's not my place. But, yeah, no, those kind of going backtracking a little bit. So, yeah, I, submitted my application, applied to HMS. I was like, this sounds like this is perfect. Like, for the amount of wrenching experience that I have, for the amount of experience that they're looking for, and what this could lead to, this is absolutely the way in. So the only downside to that was, and I don't regret this choice, obviously, to this point at all, but I definitely had to embrace the suck way more at that point, because I went from being full-time making $22 an hour to now making $19 part-time. And I was capped at 30 hours a week.
Damn.
Yeah. So
did that kind of open up the doors to do some other like side hustle stuff, or?
It did. At that point I had, my mom, shout out mom, she had kind of pushed me to, get licensed here in North Carolina. That way I could kind of have real estate as a side hustle.
Yep.
Because I mean, even if you're not actively helping people, you don't have your own pipeline and your own clients. I mean, even just being a referral agent is like you get 10% of whatever they make.
Well, here's your plug, man. So anybody that's looking for a house rent, plug your stuff away.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, definitely. Shout out Dream Team United Carolinas. Shout out to Fayez Dosaji and Greg Yates. They actually run that team here. Actually, I'm in the process of buying a house right now. I'm in escrow.
Nice.
Greg's actually helping me on that. So
we're at Mooresville or
Denver,
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
I'm going the other way.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get away from Charlotte and just go north of Mooresville.
Dude, I feel you. If there weren't so many, if racing was not here,
I know,
rooted here, I would have been north already.
Yeah.
So yeah, anybody looking to buy or sell a house, Dream Team United Carolinas. But yeah, so I applied, obviously. I did not think I was going to hear back. I was like, there's no way. Like, I need more. This is Hendrick Motor Sports.
But going back to what you were saying, Hendrick does like to hire from within.
From within, correct.
You've already got a year and a half-ish with the company.
Right.
Even though it's the HAG side and not the HMS side, guess what? It's still within. It's one huge, massive corporation, so.
Exactly. Yeah, so the funny part is I wasn't even supposed to get the job. It was supposed to be in some, whatever it was, luck, divine intervention. The guy that was supposed to get the job instead of me had some kind of issue on his employment application to where he was not able to start when they wanted him to start. So they went to the next best person, which was me. So,
dude, it's knocking on doors, testing your possibilities, and a little bit of luck.
Exactly. That's literally all it is. And thank God it worked out. So yeah, I in June of 2024, June 24th actually is when I started. So yeah, I transitioned to Hendrick Motor Sports. My first day there, I took a picture of that sign, the one that you see right outside in front of the. It's right between the engine building and the admin building.
Mm-hmm.
It says big old fat sign that says Hendrick Motor Sports on it. I literally took a picture of that sign, and I remember verbatim. I posted it on Instagram, and I said, "The real work starts now."
Hell yeah!
And those words carried me through my time there. Because it was after orientation, it was literally like
hustle.
Yeah, first day you get there, they do a new employee orientation, obviously. Because Hendrick is a race team, but Hendrick, like you said, because it is so massive, it is very much a corporate race team. Mm-hmm. It is a business. I mean, 630 employees.
Just on HMS?
Just at Hendrick Motor Sports.
Yep.
So, yeah, I get there. First day there, I walk down to the pit garage. The other two pit techs are there. And they introduced me to them, and I'm like, so, like, I got all these tools I just bought. Do I need to bring my own box? And the guy literally, he just walks over and goes, no. And then he just starts grabbing tools out of this giant pit box and doesn't say anything and just kind of like looks at me, puts the tool back. And I'm like, gotcha.
So everything's supplied there.
Exactly. Like it was.
Which is a whole nother problem because where do you put all of your tools?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wasted money. Well, I don't like to think of it like that. I didn't waste money.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a bad investment in tools.
Exactly.
Especially with the experience, right? So you've got the experience turning wrenches. You can always go back to it. Like it's always going to be a fallback. Now, whether you want to do that grunt work or not,
Right. That's the real question. Yeah, I started there in June. Definitely learned a lot from those guys. I learned a lot of, admittedly, hard lessons. And I'm not afraid to admit that. And I'm not, too prideful to admit that. I definitely made my fair share of mistakes. I mean,
So you're the reason we didn't win championship. I mean, not me, but Hendrick didn't. I'm not at all a massive Hendrick fan.
that was me, man. Yeah, I left my stain on the pit department. That's why all the guys are just struggling this year.
Oh gosh.
No, those guys were, even though I didn't always get along with those guys that I worked there with, but I'm extremely grateful for their patience and what they were able to teach me.
So what did you actually do in the pit department?
Yeah. So basically, the role of a pit specialist at Hendrick is you act as a mechanic to work on the practice cars.
Okay.
So there's 2 cup cars. We call them mono, single lug. There's 2 practice cup cars that are actually modeled off of the 5 and the 24.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got what we call the 5 lug car, the 6th gen Xfinity car, and we've got a truck. So we were in charge of...
So you have 2, 1, and 1.
Correct.
Okay.
4 in total. All trying to fit into this for that tiny little...
Garage.
Yeah, it's maybe like 2,000 square feet.
That's not a lot.
No, no.
Because you got not just the cars, but you have...
Toolboxes, lockers for all the pit guys, the benches in the way, a bunch of other stuff that's in there. And upstairs where they store a bunch of old obsolete pit equipment. I could go on and on. So no, not a lot to work with. A lot of rearranging that had to go on inside of that shop for us to be able to even do anything.
Which I'm sure you helped with.
Right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I mean, with it being just 3 of us, I mean, it was all hands on deck at all.
It's always work.
Right. Exactly. There was never a dull moment. So yeah, basically we acted as the setup mechanics. So, a normal day for us was we'd go up top to the 5.9 shop, or the 2448 shop, and we'd go talk to the head engineer on those cars, and we'd get a setup sheet and literally...
How the car was going to be set up for that weekend?
For that weekend, yep. Correct.
So you would set up the 5 and 24.
Correct.
Roughly how they were going to be set up for the track, because ride heights change.
Droops change.
Yep.
So
they're hitting the same exact way.
Exactly.
So you're kind of a race mechanic, a gym coach, not coach, but like a gym support or janitor.
Yeah, literally like an equipment manager. Yeah, literally.
There we go, equipment manager on the gym side. Damn, that's actually, I mean, it sucks that it's only part-time and not full-time and $19 an hour, but I mean, if I'm getting into racing, and that's a hell of a start, because that's a good chunk of experience.
It is. Like I said, I'm forever grateful for that. I learned a lot.
Plus, the other thing, it's like, all right, what do you want to be called? Do you want to be called a pit specialist or gym janitor?
Right. Exactly. And I'm convinced that's why they did that. Like, because it's like, it threw me off when I first applied. I had to read it because pit specialist sounds like a pit crew guy.
So back when I was at school, or when I was an instructor at the school, I would browse from time to time, and they had a job that was like electrical specialist or electrical something, right? And I was like, ooh, I can do this.
Yep.
So I tapped somebody that I knew worked at HMS. I was like, what is this? He goes, dude, you're running wires through the cars. That's all you're doing. I was like, yeah, my fat ass isn't going in a race car running wires like that. Nope. I'll leave that for a young kid that still has knees.
Exactly. That's literally, yeah, like it's entry level, but I will say there are still some things about that job that are not entry level.
I mean, setting up a race car is not entry level.
Right.
But,
so,
I mean, I guess I can see where it is an entry level. Because if you can set up that car, what is stopping you from eventually going up to the 548, 24, 9 shop,
Right. Yeah, well, so, and here's where the callback, to learning, thinking on your feet, learning fast, it was no more so than there. I mean, more so than Alpha Prime. Alpha Prime is, because Alpha Prime's a small team and they get so many new kids in like that, it's expected that the pace is going to slow down and that you have time to learn.
Yep.
There at Hendrick, no. This is Hendrick Motor Sports. Like, this is...
you know your stuff.
Exactly. Like this is an entry level position, but you have to have mechanical knowledge. Like you have to know how to, my biggest thing too, and I'm almost embarrassed to admit this, but I will say it. I did struggle to read a tape measure.
That's a lot of lines.
I did.
That's a lot of lines. That's why they make a tape measure now. It has a screen, tells you exactly how far.
Yeah, literally. Well, the kid there, they'd always, God bless this kid, they'd always make fun of him. It didn't help that we were from the same town.
Gosh.
Yeah, but there were a few jokes about that. But they were at one point they were literally going to make me buy a cheater tape that just had every measurement marked on the tick marks, because they were like, damn, dude, like you cannot read this to save your life, and like you have to be able to do this. Like this is like our bread and butter. This is a thing. Like this is how you set this up. So there were a lot of frustrating mornings.
So are the tape measures in metric or freedom?
Freedom scale.
Freedom scale?
Of course.
Okay.
It's NASCAR. Everything's...
No, I got to ask.
Yeah,
gotta make sure. Because with the whole spec car, who knows?
Oh, yeah, no. Barbecue sauce flavored bald eagle streams per mile. Yeah.
I love it.
It's very much American. That's pretty much what I was doing. Now, the entry level part, I can see where to them that would be entry level, because when you're literally given the setup, and if you know how to read a tape measure and you know how to literally take one or two bolts out that are holding the shock and the spring in,
yeah,
just to slide that old spring off, you're not even changing shocks, and just sliding a new spring on, and then literally putting it up on the setup plates and measuring camber toe, that is definitely very basic entry level stuff once you learn it once. So it was a bit of a learning curve. It probably took me a solid month to like get that down to where I could do it without them. But even then, I mean, because that tape measure kept kicking my ass, like there were definitely, and mind you, sometimes we had to go in at 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
yep, sleep deprived, not enough caffeine in you, and you got to read lines.
Exactly. And when you're the cause of that, the other guys aren't too friendly. Damn. So yeah, admittedly, there were some mistakes, some learning curves, but
so what you're saying is pick up a tape measure from time to time and learn how to read it.
Exactly.
While you're in school.
Any kid watching this, or anybody looking to get into racing, or that has never picked up a tape measure, that does not think, why would you use a tape measure? And we got all this technology. Nope. They're still, I will tell you firsthand, they still use strings.
Yep.
To set up cars.
Yep. To
set up $5 million to $20 million race cars, strings, and it works.
Yeah.
So definitely the old school methods, and learning how to do fast math and like read a tape measure and all that. Yep. It's read an analog clock.
Well, I mean, think about it, right? So if you're in a dealership, you have an alignment machine.
Yep.
Where you have somebody that probably doesn't even know what the degrees mean. And they're not degrees, they're minutes.
Yep.
Right? So you've got somebody that can just turn a wrench and put it in the green.
Right.
The more in the middle of the green it is, the better.
Yep.
And a lot of techs, that's all they know. Fast forward or jump over now to a race team, you don't have an alignment shop on the side of the racetrack or in the middle of the racetrack.
Nope.
How are you going to do it? You get swash plates on the floor, you slap the car down, and you put strings and tape measures.
Yep.
I mean, it works, man. That's how me and my neighbor aligned my truck when I had to replace a bunch of steering stuff on it.
Yeah.
It works. Was it perfect?
Good enough.
It's good enough to get to the alignment shop.
Exactly. Yeah, that's basically what it was. And anytime we weren't doing that, so just to kind of break it down, a typical week was we worked Monday through Thursday. Mm-hmm. Anytime from the rule was an hour before the guys started practice. So usually that was at 6 o'clock, be there by 6. So compared to some other times I've had to be there, not bad at all. So yeah, we'd come in on Monday. Monday was 8 o'clock, right? Because they didn't practice. Those guys don't practice on Mondays. So 8 o'clock on a Monday, come in, Usually it would take us about 2-3 hours to set the cars up. Depending on if we had to do a little bit longer, if we had to do the Xfinity car, usually the 2 Cup car is about 2 to 3 hours.
So typically Monday was your setup day.
Correct.
Make sure the cars ran good, started up, all that good stuff.
Correct.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday
Yeah.
was practice for the pit crews.
Correct. So, yeah, Monday was setup day, making sure everything was good to go, prepping the pit pad, replacing nitrogen bottles, making sure air lines were good to go. So, yeah, that was basically prep day for the week. And then usually we get out around 12 or 1 o'clock. So, come in Tuesday, this is heavy practice day. This is like every house, they're called house car crews.
So this is HMS pit crew guys, the 9, the 5.
The 48 and the 24.
Yeah.
They are called house car guys. So these are like the main guys that get paid the most.
Right.
You would not believe how much.
Oh, I'm sure it's 6 figures. Easy.
It's good. Yeah, it's 7. Some guys 7. Yeah.
Damn. Well, I mean, they're athletes, man. So what a lot of people do not realize, and I hope we get to Le Mans at some point.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people don't realize is that the guys that pit NASCAR,
Yep.
they are straight muscle and speed. And a lot of these guys are off college football teams, baseball, like they are true athletes.
Yep.
Like they're not Jim Bob coming off the street and be like, I want to change a tire. You ain't getting that. You're going to get the top of the top. I mean, even NFL guys that are like, all right, I'm done throwing a football or getting hit on the, on the green. I'm going to go, carry tires or be a fueler or jackman or something like that. I think the only ones that are, and I'm not taking this anything away. I think the only ones that are less quote unquote athletic, where they still have to sprint, like is the changer.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. Dude, if you're carrying tires, you need to be a big strong guy.
Yep.
Or girl, whatever. I'm not judging.
Yep.
You need to be a fueler. You need to be tall. You need to be a jackman. You need to be a damn linebacker.
Yeah.
Because you need to throw your weight down and basically pop that car up.
That's right.
Like, I would see it on TV. I was like, I can be a jackman. I can carry those tires. No, Henderson. When he would run pit, I'd go back there. I was like, I can. Nope. 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 A fueler. I'm about 2 feet too short. So yeah, man, they're straight athletes. So I can imagine their pay's up there.
Yeah, it is for sure. And a lot of those guys are shout out to those guys, super awesome. I mean, those guys took care of me. They taught me a lot too. Because I mean, I wasn't only just setting these up, if they needed it, catching tires on the wall, throwing hose. I was also driving these cars.
Hell yeah.
It was our job to drive them into the box on the pit pad and stop on a mark. And for anybody that has never done this, it is a lot harder than you would think.
100%.
And the mark I'm talking about is literally maybe 2 inches wide. It's a little piece of tape, and you have to try to line this hub up, or the front wheel, with that tape, or essentially, your shoulder essentially with that tape, and then the nose kiss the sign. And I mean, tap it.
Tap it.
So
how many times did you blow through the sign?
Oh, every time. I maybe had a few times where I got it like right on the money.
Well,
but
you know what though? That is good practice.
Yep.
Because you can't tell me a driver isn't going to accidentally, slide the tires.
Oh, it happens all the time. I mean, we'd have certain drivers that would come to practice with us that we would intentionally set the sign back like a foot because we knew he was going to want to drive through it. There's a certain, I'm not going to say who it is, there's a certain driver in the truck series right now that loves to drive through the sign. So we would intentionally set it back because we know he's going to push it to where it needs to be. But yeah, no, those guys,
I can totally just start probing now, and I so want to.
Those guys,
Z Inspire.
Yep.
I mean, that wasn't that much of a jump. I mean,
Yeah.
Inspire and HMS are pretty good partners.
Yep.
All right, we'll leave it there.
Super cool guy though. Yeah, no, my time at HMS though, very insightful. Those guys were awesome. I was actually and these guys are more than welcome to call me out on this. I actually not full on practice with those guys, but on Thursdays, it wouldn't be an official practice because Tuesday you do like a full on practice with just the crews, us and the coaches, and then Wednesday was called road crew day. The actual behind the wall guys, the mechanics would come down and they would practice their behind the wall positions,
Throwing the hoses out, holding
catching
the sign,
tires.
catching. All right.
Exactly on a Wednesday. Thursday was open pad. So that was anybody that wanted to come in, mostly the new guys that had just ran through the combine that got selected and signed. They would come in and just get reps in. And that was the easiest day because literally it was either just me or one of the other guys driving. And it was chill. There was no pressure. There was no time limit. I mean, it was literally you guys come in at 9 and however long you want to stay, as many reps as you want to get in, and we would help those guys out. And, sometimes if there wouldn't be like most times there's a jackman there, but if there wasn't like a tire carrier or something like that there, because I was a tire carrier, be like, hey, you want to jump in and get some reps? Like, just help me out. Not full on like stops, like jumping in front of the car, but it was just like station work, So
I mean, it's something.
yeah, right. So
basically, the car would just be there.
Yeah, it'd be
you would
there.
Run around the car.
Right, it'd be there. It'd be up on a jack, or I'd put it up on the jack, and then the front changer, he would literally just focus on engaging, pulling the tire off, throwing his tire, and I'd literally just be acting like the jack man, have a tire sitting right there, swing it in and hub it for him, and then nut back on,
and just repeat, rinse and
just
repeat.
Yeah.
Nice.
A
lot of people, I will say this for the tire changer, which is the guy with the gun.
Yep.
I mean, there's also a lot of pressure on you.
There is.
Like, yeah, okay, cool. You don't have to carry the tires out. You don't have to swing the jack around. You got to make sure that you're pulling off that lug. It's staying on the gun.
Yep.
Even though it's single lug. And when you go back in, you need to make sure that your timing is dead perfect, because if the jack drops and that lug's not all the way in, that tire's coming off.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on the tire changers.
There is, and those guys, they're the best at it. They are truly awesome to watch. But yeah, no, I would help those guys with it sometimes, and not to blow my own whistle too much, but I could keep up with them. So I mean, I was pretty proud of myself for that. But yeah, fast forward a little bit. So yeah, I spent about my time at HMS was actually pretty short.
All things considered.
Yeah. I spent about 2 months there, from June, maybe a little more, like 3 months, from June to September.
I mean, you learned a lot in those 3 months.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It feels like it's a very fast-paced learning environment.
It was definitely. I met a lot of great guys, met a lot of great people. Those athletes, like a lot of people are intimidated by those guys because they think for some reason that they're up here. If you talk to them, they're the nicest people in the world.
That's a lot of people with the sport.
Yeah,
That's a lot of people with the sport.
Extremely nice guys. Like if you just talk to them, they are so down to earth. Like they're the coolest guys you will ever meet. So fast forward, I won't say his name, but a really good guy over at Hendrick Motor Sports. He actually, and this is leading into Action Express. So he worked on the 48 Ally DPI car back when Jimmy Johnson drove for Action in 2021, I believe.
Okay.
If I don't have my dates mixed up. So he worked on that car along with a whole crew of guys from HMS back in the day. Hendrick Motorsports and Action Express have a very close working relationship.
Yeah, because I remember a lot of Chevys on track back in the day.
Yep.
Crew guys had HMS stuff on them.
They did. Yeah. It was, a lot of those guys, they still know a lot of those guys to this day, a lot of the guys at Action Express and HMS from those days. But, so I'd kind of, from time to time when there was nothing else to do and we needed some extra hours that got approved, I'd go up to Teardown and I would just learn how to take apart hubs, clean them, help those guys with anything and everything. I met a guy, a really cool guy that taught me a lot. And he said, how you liking it here? And I'm like, oh, it's awesome. Like I'm learning a lot, but I'm I am kind of struggling a little bit financially because the pay cut I took. I do need like a full-time job doing this, and I really do want to advance and like kind of take it to the next level and have a job that has a little bit more responsibility.
Right.
So he said, well, I know, you know who Chris Mitchum is? And I said, no, sir. He said, I got a buddy named Chris Mitchum. He actually works over at Action Express.
All right, guys, I'm going to leave it off there for part one because if I keep going, it's going to be basically almost 3.5, almost 4 hours. So next part is going to be his journey starting into the IMSA team with Action Express, and a big chunk of it is Le Mans and kind of what he's up to now. And I will give an update at the end of that next part as to exactly what he's doing now. So stay tuned for part 2.